Hey there, it's Jenny Hobbs, Fit Mom MD, and it is February, and here in Seattle, it is cold and rainy, and our midwinter break is coming. So everybody is itching to travel. Basically, everyone I know is like, we're getting out of here, we're going somewhere sunny and warm, and my family's no exception. We are heading to Hawaii. So I wanted to talk today about packing. I did another packing video a few months ago that was all about my efforts to decrease my overpacking, simplify my life, fit things into a carry-on, and people really enjoyed that video. But there were a lot of questions about how I pack my toiletries, and so I want to share about that part today. So before I start, a couple general things to think about when you're deciding on a system that will make sense for you. You need to think about, are you someone that's typically trying to fit into a carry-on, going to need to pull liquids out to be checked by TSA and have those in a separate bag? Or are you someone that's going to be checking and so you don't have to worry about the size of your liquids and the location in your bag and all that stuff? Also think about how often you travel. Like if you're someone who just takes 1 or 2 big vacations a year, you can definitely, kind of take some time and set this up in a very specific way for those longer, bigger trips, right? But if you're someone like me, where you travel on shorter and longer trips pretty much every month or 2, then you may want to have a setup that is a little bit quicker and easier to just, throw into your bag and go, if that makes sense. So you kind of want to think about some of those things. And actually, something that I have kind of a weird situation now because I actually work only nights in the hospital. So a bunch of the stuff I'm going to show you packed in here, I actually don't pack in this bag because they're always packed in my separate little sleep bag that I take to and from the hospital when I sleep there. So I think what I'm going to show you now is the most common setup that would work for the average person who's not a nocturnalist like myself. And then at the end, I'll actually show you what I'm probably going to do for this trip, just in case you want to look at the 2 options and think about what might make the most sense for your lifestyle. Okay, so and I also want to just talk briefly about the bags that I'm using. So this is the L.L Bean, I don't know what it's called, I'll put the link below, but it's their travel bag. This is the one that I actually had in the overpacking video that people thought was like so compact. And it's what I've used for like 20 years. My parents got it for me as a gift. And what's interesting is that I realized after I did that video that it was really beat up and I don't really love the color anymore. So I asked my husband for a new one for Christmas and he got me this one, which I really thought when I put it on my list is the same size, and it kind of looks like it is, but they've updated the design. I guess that's not surprising since it's been 20 years. And they've added some nice pockets and things, but now it feels, obviously this has nothing in it, but still, even when this had all the stuff in it, it felt more compact. So you might want to think about that. I'll put the size in the link below for which one I got. I can't completely remember, but they have like 5 or 6 different sizes, so you may be able to find something that's a little bit more compact than this and fit everything in there, because I'm not even using some of the pockets in here, to be honest with you. So that's just something to keep in mind. But it's really nice bag, and I'm telling you what, like aside from the fact that cosmetically I'm not loving this, it has held up extremely well. And of course, you don't have to use this bag. This is just the one that I happen to have for years and it's worked well for me. Okay, so opening it up here, one thing that is nice about this bag and that I would recommend for anybody who travels quite a bit is it has this nice hook so you can hang it up in the room, has a mirror. It also has, I don't think I have it here, it has like a little removable thing that you can put in here, a mesh bag you can pull out and then hang like in the shower. That doesn't work so well for me because anything I'm going to use in the shower, I need to have in plastic because of TSA and also because I'm really paranoid that things are going to leak in my bag and ruin everything. So I happen to have this bag, but honestly, if you didn't, we just throw things in. You can get a quart Ziploc bag, or I always have a bunch of these extra gallon Ziploc bags everywhere for packing things, and they're so handy to have because, after the trip, maybe you have wet clothing or something like that, or something does spill, then you can put it in its own separate bag. So I always tuck one of those down there in the bottom. And then I guess let's start with the TSA items. So I pulled these all out and put them in their own separate bag. And okay, so starting with my hair. So I have shampoo and conditioner. I really like these bottles. I get them at Walgreens and I think you can find them online. Again, I'll try to find a link if I can. They have these little labels that are inside the caps here so you can tell what they are. So this is shampoo and conditioner, and this is hair gel, which I renamed lotion because I didn't have a gel option. But these things are great. Like you can squeeze on them. They're really pliable. They hold a ton, and I haven't had any trouble with leaking from those. The other thing that I use is these also I bought at the drugstore. You twist them open like this. They're very compact. They do leak a little around the edge, but usually I just put things in here that aren't really messy. And I like this because sometimes you do not need this much of your stuff, even for like a week or two. This is one of my hair gel things that I used to use a tiny bit when my hair is wet, and then a tiny bit to kind of like calm down the frizz. So I really don't need this huge container, and that saves me some room by using this. So these are my two favorite sort of travel containers. These ones come in this bag, so you can have all that together. And the other thing to keep in mind, by the way, is most people don't need to wash their hair as much as they do. This is a whole nother video, but I barely ever use shampoo. Like I could probably put the shampoo in a little one like this as well if I was really strapped for space. I can just, use conditioner on my hair often because it's curly and I don't want to dry it out too much with shampoo. And then a lot of times I can just keep it dry and not wash it, and it actually looks better, especially on vacation, especially for Hawaii. So keep that in mind. You may not need to bring as many of these things as you think, or as high volume of them as you think. So that's what I do for hair. And then first I have this little, this is just random, I have this little travel perfume that my husband got me years ago for our honeymoon, and I always take that when we travel because I like to use that perfume. It helps me. It reminds me of my honeymoon, makes me happy. So I keep that in there because it is a liquid. And then this, I love this. I get this on Amazon. It's a really good sunscreen, and it's tiny, so I can make sure that it is okay with TSA. Now for Hawaii, because we are taking 4 of us who are extremely pale, we are actually going to check a bag with our kids' stuff, and we're going to put all this extra sunscreen in there. But I like having this one in my carry-on for other regular trips that don't involve the 4 of us going to sit in the sun. Okay, so then for skincare, what I do is I have travel versions of a lot of the things that I normally use for my skin routine. And if you don't have those, then, use some more of these. I used to use a bunch of these for my skincare until I happened to have this option. So this is my cleanser, and then these are my, antioxidants, and this is my retinol. And there is one more thing that I sometimes use in my skin routine, but I just figure if I'm traveling and I have one step missing from my routine, it's not the end of the world. It's never been a problem for me. So I just keep it simple, and I don't bring that one because I only have that one in a large container, and it doesn't really transfer well to one of these. So don't be afraid to, simplify your routine even a little bit more when you're traveling. It's only a few days, right? So this stuff all fits in here, and it's easy to pull out for TSA. I'm not going to organize it because I don't want to bore you guys watching me pack that, but you get the idea. So then in here, up here is my makeup, and I already talked about that in the makeup video that I did recently, talking about my simple makeup routine. When I travel, I throw in a couple extra things like eyeliner and a couple extra lipsticks. If my kids weren't coming, it was a fancier trip or a work trip, I might add in like my false eyelashes or like fancier stuff. But let's be honest, it's Hawaii with my kids. I'm not gonna probably end up using a lot of that stuff. And then in here, this little mesh pocket, I have, this is one of my great hacks. This is coconut oil. And I really like this container as well. I got this at Walgreens. It has a sealing top, you can see there. And then it's got this really good screw top. So this does not leak. And of course, it's coconut oil, so it becomes solid, so it's even less likely to leak on you, right? And this I can actually use as a makeup remover. So I pull out some of the coconut oil, rub it between my fingers, it removes my waterproof mascara, and then I get this little makeup removing cloth wet and wipe off the mascara with that. And that I can actually put this all over my face to wash my face too if I want to. So this is a really easy way to clean off makeup and clean off your skin all in one. If you don't want to use this, I have a product that's a sort of a lotion skin cleanser that removes makeup that is very similar to this, probably much better for you, that I buy through my skincare girl, and I absolutely love that too. But this just is so easy because coconut oil can also be used as a moisturizer and so many other things. So I always bring that, and I love bringing one of these little makeup remover cloths because then I don't get the the hotel washcloths all full of mascara, and this just actually works so much better at actually removing the makeup. Then this is just my little lip mask that I always have with me because my lips get so dry. You could definitely leave that out if you were packing light, but I love it. Then down in here, I have deodorant, just a full-size deodorant that stays in there, and I just keep an extra one in there so I don't have to remember to pack it all the time. And then I have my razor. I just like these like Venus ones, and then I always just have an extra little cover. What's that called? Head. Oh, and I should mention I use the ones that have built-in shaving cream on there, so, and then a reusable handle, so it's really compact and I don't have to bring shaving cream that way. And doesn't make a mess because I can just throw it out and be done with it after that trip. Then I have travel toothbrush and toothpaste, go in here, and of course, little travel floss. This is a little packet of cotton balls that I, got from a hotel at one point and just saved. And then my hair bands. So that is really everything that I need. The only thing that isn't in here, things that aren't in here, I should say, are the things that go in this bag, which goes in my purse. So I think if you're traveling, a good idea is to have in your purse, separate from your toiletry bag, whether it's checked or not, like let's say you're gonna end up being on a long flight, overnight or something, you've got your face mask here. You've got, this is my little another little container that I found at Walgreens that I love, that I use for my melatonin. I've got earplugs in here, and then like a bunch of lipsticks, and this is a little travel Advil container I got, and I put all the different little over-the-counter medicines I like to take stay in that. And then I repurposed an Altoids with my Zicam, because if I start coming down with the cold while I'm traveling, I want to be sure to be popping my Zicam, and gum and whatnot. So other usual things that are in there. But my main point is that some of this stuff is actually travel stuff that I don't normally keep in this bag in my purse. So whenever I get ready to go on a trip, I can just pull out my mask and my melatonin and add them to this. And then that's the only stuff in addition to what's in here. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that gives you some ideas. I will definitely link in the containers. So these containers, let me just do a little quick recap of the containers that I've really found helpful for packing, because I know that's often really the issue. So those containers are all great. If you get several of these, you can decide where your things fit best. And then this one that the coconut oil goes in is really good as well. And then the other, I think that's really it for containers. Oh, and then this thing is a great piece to have as well. And these little razors with the built-in. You guys, normally I would edit that out, but I'm too tired. To prep for 3 days of work and get on the plane to Hawaii, and I don't have time. All right, so these are just a few of the things that have really made life easier for me when I travel. So that is how I would do it if I were you and you're not a nighttime doc who also needs your stuff separated out for overnights when you're not traveling. I will be right back, and I will show you how I'm actually going to do it this week. All right, so now I'm going to show you what I'm probably actually going to do for this trip. I still love the idea, the simplicity of this is so appealing to me, and when I have time to get everything together and packed, and maybe if I take a longer trip or I check my bag, I will definitely be using this. But for this particular trip, I am working 3 night shifts back to back, and then I'm literally finishing up my night shift, going to a meeting, taking my daughter to a class, and then heading out for our trip. And I am notoriously a slow packer, and I'm always holding up the family with my packing. And I'm pretty sure if I try to take my normal life, which I'll tell you about in a second, and to put it into this bag system that I just showed you, when I'm post-call and haven't been sleeping for 3 days, it's not going to be a good situation. So although it's looking less simple, I think it will actually be simpler in practice for me to do it this way. So this, I've talked about this before, I have a whole sleep routine, and this is my sleep bag, and this is just because I'm a nocturnist. If you aren't a nocturnist, this is kind of not relevant to you, but for me this is very important. So what I'm going to do is use my exact same sleep bag that I always do. It already has like my coconut oil, my mask, Actually even has some other things in here like my Apple Watch bands, my earplugs, my toothbrush, my toothpaste. I'm just going to keep that the same, and then what I'm going to do for the next few days is I'm just going to include a few extras that I'm going to need for the longer trip. So my deodorant, I don't know, maybe I should start taking deodorant to the hospital for when I sleep there. My razor, floss, and then this makeup remover thing. So I'll just tuck this stuff all in this bag, and I'll just keep this with me as I do my night shifts, and I won't have to remember that stuff when I finish up my shifts. And then this is just my typical makeup bag that I always use, and so tonight I just threw in a few of the extra makeup items that I want for vacation, but it's basically my simple makeup routine. So I'll keep those two, which I always have in my stuff, and they'll just be ready to go. Then I have this bag, which is also always in my purse with my gum and lipstick and all that stuff, and that's basically the same except I moved a couple things around, and that will already be ready to go. Then the extra things I need for travel are still exactly the same as before, and I can just go ahead and pack this tonight so it's ready to go and I don't have to remember it. And actually I remembered that I have these little snack bag Ziplocs, so I put one around this item that was worrying me that it might spill. Everything else is really secure, and I'm not worried. I think I just tried to stuff too much stuff in there. So tonight is the night before I start my shifts, and so I'm going to finish up packing my away bag, my carry-on luggage with all my Hawaii clothes. I'm going to pop this in there. This will stay in my work purse. This will stay here for makeup and pop in my purse before we leave. Or in my carry-on before we leave, and then this will also be in my purse for work, and it will stay right there. So I think it should be super simple. I actually did this system with the 4 little bags for a weekend trip, a couple weekend trips over the holidays where we just hopped in the car, and I almost felt like it was taking up less space than this because, and it looks so messy and chaotic with all the different bags, but they can tuck so easily in different spots in your luggage. So I don't know. I will keep you guys posted about which system I end up liking better, but think about what might work best for you. Obviously for a longer trip, or if you're checking your bags or you want this nice simplicity of something you can hang up at your destination, I think this is an awesome choice. But for me this week, I think this is going to end up being actually easier. So I hope you found this helpful and maybe got some ideas about how you can simplify down your routines and your toiletry packing when you travel. And I would love to hear if you have any other tips or suggestions. I'll be sure to put some links down below to the things I found. And as always, if you find this helpful, please let me know. Please subscribe, drop a comment below, shoot me a message, let me know what you enjoyed. I am here for you, and I want to make sure that the content I'm creating is something that you want to hear. So the more you tell me, the more I can tailor it to you. That's in fact why I did this video, because people said, hey, how do you do your toiletries? So here you go. Now you know the nitty-gritty of my life. Anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful week, and if you are traveling next week like I am, be safe and have an amazing time, and I will be back with more later.